is about a character by the name of Simon Zoller. Swan, start it up. I got two big and a pretty. All your life is a plan, anyone can understand. And a pretty smile, white teeth that helps with these kinds of things. I'm not saying you should quit, you got that strawberry hair, but you're wishing you could sniff, but it's always something else that stops you. Always dances of dust, your hips don't move too much. Always dances of dust, your hips don't move too much. You are so beautiful. He said it first in his head, then it echoed there like a mantra until it escaped out of his mouth and until she, beyond the realm of consciousness, said it in her own head where it echoed like a mantra with no means of escape. When I was in Houston and feeling so important, when my every move was calculated by these gauzy little daydreams of my career as an adventuring secret agent solving puzzles for the deputy director until I became the most powerful person in the country who has the time to exercise power, while I was working so diligently toward, Saturday brunch parties in Georgetown with cucumber and hummus trays and long conversations with worn-out radical academics, Simon Zoller was creating life. While I manipulated good people to ensure that Flight 2 remained a secret and humored myself into believing I was really in charge of a space launch, Simon Zoller changed the course of human history. And I didn't even know that he was doing it in my name. Paid to the Order of Simon Zoller, under registered contract, care of the Brooklyn field office, lead agent, Karen James. But this isn't about me. Well, not yet, anyway. All your back was a plan, anyone can understand. And a pretty smile, white teeth, it helps with these kinds of things. I'm not saying you should quit, you got that strawberry hair, but you wish you could sniff, but it's always something else that stops you. It's always that seas of dust, but your hips don't move too much. Yeah, it's always that seas of dust, but your hips don't move too much. He had the posture of a madman who was slowly growing scared of the dark. Hair matted down, eyes dilated black like a couple of old stars. If you could see the figments of your mind, would you bring them to life or lose your mind asking why? You should the first, because questions always survive. Why is she always cursed? Why do I walk the earth? Why do they taunt me with reminders of her death in the form of a check? It must be her. It's always her. Karen's always sneaking through my time just to steal what I might never find and forcing me to be alive. Fuck! I didn't mean that, elbow one. I won't dismiss what we have won, and I promise we aren't done as I hold you in between my burnt thumbs. I've only been so reckless because I'm scared to ask this question, which is meant for you and Karen. If she would tell the truth and swear that she would answer on the merits, not another sad deception, is it worth it? All the pain and the strife, all these nosebleeds from dry heat when your ventilation sings, all the heartbeats that we flee to justify the progress that our boss needs, in our pleas for just another hour to sit and think. want something to read when all we have is TV, and a second to blink to forget what we've seen, and a moment of prayer though we hate the deities. You see, Elba's a vine in my heart, and she twists and stops beats. She's a moment of peace from my leaking bad dreams. I feel a little more dead than the hope I suggest, like I haven't eaten for weeks, but that's all in my head. But rappers from the vending machine don't believe what they've read. I swear I'm feeling divine, but I think that God's dead since forever before, and I guess always again. So please, my God, punish me, because I don't believe what I've seen makes you seem like me. You see, he had the voice of a cottonmouth, dried out lapse of a cough, belly thin and soft, hanging like the towel off the top of a loft. He thought of taking off, dying, scraping skin with the road. He couldn't simply let her be sold after saving her soul. In his left hand he held a cylinder, and on his table lay elbow one. He had lived this nightmare for so long that he had managed to recreate it frame by frame. It reminded him that it had been real, that for a few brief moments she was alive, outside of his head and in his arms. What was that song again? The one that was always in his head, that he danced to right up until the end. The song reminded him of something she said. I have waltz files. Classic Elba. You'd ask her if she knew how to dance, and she would say that she had files. There is so much more to it, but how is she supposed to know, really? And how are you supposed to teach someone something like that? How are you supposed to teach an adult child who knows everything they have to know and nothing they are supposed to? How do you... And he shut his eyes tight. An adult child, another sad deception, he concluded, feeling shame rise through his body with its prickly heat. Elba was nothing like that, and I am nothing like her father for only one reason. I was impatient. I wanted her to exist more than I wanted to think about what it would be to love her once she did. And so I told this agency that she would exist, and that when she did, they could have her. But first, I told them that I have an idea to solve their confidential flight problem. And I told them that because how else could they understand what she is? People like that, they only think in terms of inputs and outputs. Here is a problem. Where is the solution? What problem could her beautiful life solve? Any problem, just like a human's could if they were expendable. That was Elba's fate. And her death spared her from the truth that I betrayed her, that I had done so before she was born, and that she owed her life to my betrayal. That was Elba's fate. But now, thanks to the moral awakening of a woman I once called 1% human, or thanks to some happy accident, I don't care either way, Elba 1 will be free. The new Elba will learn everything she is supposed to know. She will be born an adult child and grow into adolescent childhood and become a woman who will know everything and everything there is to learn about her namesake, who gave her life so that she might know freedom. In his left hand, he held a cylinder. It was blue and orange, and it was Elba and his imagination. He knew it was her. Well, he wanted it to be her in his heart of hearts. He knew that it might be her. And he prayed it was, because then she would know the truth. Because then I might learn the truth. That she was mine. But a life once lost cannot be found. An immutable law of the universe, entropy, or our fear of the divine, I don't know. But it wasn't the first Elba. And, well, she had her own ideas about whose she was. Simon eased a covering off the back of her neck with his right hand. Elbow one lay inanimate as ever. He spun the cylinder slowly with his left hand so that its grooves matched up with hers. Simon pulled back to take a deep breath and fell to his knees, having caught a glimpse of his shaking hands. If he thought of something that steadied him then, I am not sure what it was. Our scientist had long since stopped addressing the tape recorder, and all I can hear is heavy breathing. His knees creaked forward as he pushed it into her head, bit by bit, while Elbow One's orange eyes flickered and her mouth came open. There was a click, and he addressed the recorder, which sat beside Elba on her metal hospital bed covered by white bed sheets with a particularly high thread count. The logic membrane has been installed. Waiting to confirm installation. I was in Houston, worn out and dead tired, curled over a conference room table littered with open binders and mostly empty margarita pitchers. I was networking.
jacket, and now if he's watching this, he knows that I stole it. I think he's Indian. I love you. I'm Cassidy Andrews, and this is Emily Wolf. We're going to do a song of mine that is about fucked up love, which seems to fit the theme. It's called What Was Wrong. There's a gift to the loose paint on the fence behind your house. There's a take and a lake we could swim in if you like. wrote together. This is called The Things You Say. Welcome back to the stage, bossy atone. Mastermind of all.
All right.
All right.
The things you say never happen. The things you say never happen. The things you say never happen. Oh, the things you say never happen. Look, lies of the beast. I mean the flaws of the streets. I mean backward sins and every color of the skin. I got the known unknowns and nappy-headed fro and big time dreams.
Absolutely. Like, it depends on your rap style. Like, for me, the easiest thing to do is piano
Really?
and guitar and like light drums. Part of the reason I work so well with John Swan is that he is always adding tons of melodic elements to everything he does. And so I can really catch like a really artsy verse, you know?
That's awesome.
Would you like to hear something extremely embarrassing that no one told us? Apparently,
What's that?
our voices could not be heard this whole time.
What?
No one said
Oh,
anything
No!
in chat until just now
Oh!
because of how the stream channels were set up. Well, we hope you enjoyed the music.
There was so much conversation.
Yeah, great intro.
It showed it on my streaming software, but apparently it was not making it to YouTube.
Do you think it'll be there on the like video later?
No.
Oh, that sucks so much.
That hurts. How did no one say anything? We've had 15 different people in here, and we finally got someone to
We
say.
were going for almost 45 minutes.
I know. Okay,
Oh,
let's do a quick recap of what we covered. Karen 1% was literally named after a Karen, a woman named Karen who was being a Karen, who asked for 1% of the music because she was giving Dave Dabayak like advice.
Perpetuity, though, that's what's crazy. You wanted 1% of profit forever.
Yeah.
For the rest of his life, for the rest of Dave's natural life.
Oh
Yes.
my god.
I assume that's just music profits and not like, you know.
to be clear, that is the Faustian nonsense that we're all about here, but also
Oh my gosh. All right, so let's see. There was that. You heard the music, which is great. Well, that's good. At least they could hear the music. Let's see.
yes.
Minus Pedro was about was named after a band, but without Pedro because Pedro never showed up. Wow, we've covered a lot. It's really hard to just TLDR this right now.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh boy.
oh.
Yeah, I could go back to my notes, but boy, howdy, yeah, hard to recreate the magic here.
Oh man, that's
There's
yeah.
no such thing as a perfect live show.
I don't think I've ever run one. I always
They
get
don't
it.
exist. They don't exist.
No. I'm the gift that keeps on re-gifting. I mean, we are kind of re-gifting the stream to everyone. Thanks. It's Brendan from Super Suits.
Hello, Brendan.
Is Brendan the one who dropped the news on us?
Brendan did drop the
Yes.
news on us. Yeah, it was
I
the
mean,
bear.
at the very least, now we have like the key parts of the Karen 1% cast. We all have a deep private knowledge
Yes.
of our artistic
Yes.
motivation.
We had an AB conversations, so
And his, yeah. You can think of that as that was a cast meeting.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
with a little bit of
It was a
ambience in the
tease
background.
for the audience. They could see us talking and having a good time, but they couldn't hear us. It's a new approach to audio dramas where there's no audio.
The audioless audio drama. They're elusive, but they apparently exist now.
Just 45 minutes of silence. It'll be great.
Oh, fuck. Okay, well, at least imagine we went the whole time. That would have been much worse. So thank you so much, Brendan, for being here and letting us know. I
Yes.
can always count on you. Okay, so that song was you, and we can at least talk about that song.
Yes.
Exactly.
Let's talk about that song again. We can at least recap that part.
Yeah, exactly. So that was The Things You Say by a band me and Cassidy were in called Minus Pedro. It was very interesting in that song only took us about 5 minutes to write, but it just felt so true, about maybe just us generally. Before that, you heard a song called What Was Wrong, which is a rare song that I brought in from kind of outside of the not being written for the current 1% universe, basically. And it's really about a breakup, she had with someone she was with. But it really, the theme, she talks about it, what was wrong with me, loving you, and you weren't there. Loving me was your sin, no one disagrees. That was the end. That really captures the relationship between Karen and Marcia when it really starts to come to a head. Like, what are they? How much do they take advantage of each other? So yeah, absolutely beautiful, beautiful track from Cassidy. And I also said the first thing I felt after she played that was I felt kind of bad because I was like, oh man, I brought you cold in off the bench to play two songs, had a few missed hits and everything, but her and Emily's voices and harmonizing kind of carried it through anyway. So that was very cool. I think before that, if we want to go into full recap mode, I think the main thing I said was, one thing that was really important to us, 1% was just the idea that great writing is about choices. And so here I did something a lot different than from previous writing I've done, which was really to just like make every choice about looking inward instead of outward. So maybe there's plot points that are massive change for humankind or dramatic action scenes that affect organizations and all of that. But what we really focus on is personal apocalypses. We always turn inward. I've always been taken by this quote that's, goes something along the lines of, the world has ended many times before. Any other civilizations or groups or people have faced their own personal apocalypses, and that's really what we try to do with Current 1% is like to make those like endings for people, things that end everything they know and the world as they know it, and to really look inward on those things and really focus on what's going on inside the person who it's happening to. So that's kind of the magic sauce of Karen 1%, along with the fact that we use music to take since all the narration is first person by Karen, we use music to introduce third person narration that's more reliable than Karen could ever be. So that's kind of the brief summary. We also talked with Dave from Sleep Station about just about the albums that inspired this work. Runaway Album 1 by Sleep Station and Hang In There Charlie were albums that were really important to me, growing up as an artist, which Dave here wrote. And really, it all kind of started with me misinterpreting what the albums were actually about. But I think what Dave was saying was that maybe I misinterpreted what the albums were literally about. But what I did capture was something about the lyrical sensibilities, and just the feelings undergirding them. So like that's I think why me and Dave making this project together. That's a big part of why we work together so well is that artistically we both kind of speak in very similar voices, although we come from like as different backgrounds as you could imagine. I was a rapper in Milwaukee, and Dave was in the New Jersey indie music boom. He was like one of the big time singer songwriters there. Does that sound about right to you, Dave?
Sounds about right.
Oh, and I think something else we can cover again is who's here, because everyone missed the part. So if you'd like to talk a little bit then again and introduce everyone one more time, I apologize.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we have Tony, who is the head of marketing for Fausti Nonsense Network. Although once I report this to the owners, not not for long.
Jobs on the line.
Not for long. We're putting Tony up on the trade block. We want a couple second round picks, maybe some cash considerations. Just hit up Faustian Nonsense. Beyond that, we've got Avalon Willowbloom, who plays Elba One, who is I think is best described as a sentient mechanical woman with a dead sentient mechanical woman inside of her.
Yeah.
Describing the character
Legally
and
speaking, that's what
actress.
I am too. So, yeah, we're good.
Here we go. We've got Catherine Allison here. You may have seen Catherine if you're a Broadway fan in Company or in Aladdin or in Wicked. She also has a solo album out now. What's that solo album all about, Catherine?
Called Something Real. It is a cover album that has a little something for everybody. Everything from Beyonce to Ella Fitzgerald, and yeah, it's a good listen. I suggest you pick it up.
All right, awesome. And of course, we've got the principal musician of Karen 1%, David Deviak, who is the frontman for legendary band Sleep Station and is currently the front, which is a current band too, but is also the frontman for Electric Century, which features Dave and My Chemical Romance's Mikey Way. Dave, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me here.
Absolutely. So, I mean, I guess I've kind of given the capsule of everything. We can keep things rolling, I think. So next you're gonna hear two songs. One called "Is That Weird," which is a Minus Pedro song, which was produced by a beautiful man named Proof of Concept. Haven't talked to him in a little while. Thanks for lending this production to us. Then a track called "The Escapers." These songs are important because, in a kind of weird way, they were always kind of written with Karen 1%, the project, in mind. But what we use them for in the pod is for Karen's flashback. She goes back. She was a high schooler, right around maybe, canonically, maybe like 2 or 3 years ago. And so these are the songs that, as a high schooler, like that are in her memory. And her memory is also inhabited by Elba One. And all of her memories are kind of being twisted and shaped a little bit by her interactions with Elba One, and it really changes her. So these are kind of two songs that Karen, yes, are maybe a little bit from Karen's high school days, but also songs that kind of invented by Karen's evolving memories of her high school days based on Elba One's increasing influence on her. So why don't we go ahead and listen to those two songs from the podcast? This is called "Is That Weird?"
By Proof of Concept.
Ah.
Brilliant man. I forgot to tell you we were playing this song, but I love you, brother. Too many times you lie.
John Swan, by the way. On the ones and twos, scratching. John did all the scene music for Karen 1%.
What they hate to skate, know what they gain. So I can get 1,000 pros. I make the whole world show what they fear the most is that we broke. And those pros know the people, the real free pros just kill the soul. I can take back jokes and deny the hope. You can take bad pros and sweet pros and dope. Once along them steps to security guards who build tambour walls to escape the jaws. Tambour walls to escape the jaws. Tambour walls to escape the jaws. It's all.
Touch my hips. Aren't you like hypnotized?
I see what you did there. Hypnotized. Are there other recordings of you rapping somewhere? I would very much like to listen to them.
Absolutely, there are. Well, we'll talk about it after this.
I was gonna say, will you shoot me some links? Because I want to check that out.
What do you think, John? Do you think we have the time allotted for this next song?
Yeah, I think we can pop this off. Let's go.
This song's a special one because it has a little something, a little miracle that I call and response. That's right, I invented it myself. True story. It never typically happens at this exact point in the show. No, I made it.
This part was very, very,
And I
very
say,
fun.
Y'all think you can escape?
I was gonna say everyone loves a call and response. It's like my favorite thing to do in shows.
I don't know my place. Y'all think you can escape? I don't know my place. Y'all think you can escape? I don't know my place. Y'all think you can escape? I don't know my place. I don't know my place. They used to tell us all we were wrong. Black kids sleeping in the halls, over walls and cops. They hate us all, but we had a good plan. They could have try to understand. And the bird kids clap their hands. Put trust in my team, cause damn, I seen them bleeding their teeth. And so the streamers we ain't them for weeks. And if y'all think this keep it real, then give me a dollar bill. I put some but never spill. I put them but never fail. If you wanna raise romance, better know it's your man. Cause you must understand that you gotta shake both hands. Gotta move fast when you wanted a slow man. Running from the rope, nope, just 5 foes. Y'all think you can escape? Y'all think you can escape? Y'all think you can escape? I'm up the Ganymede, chilling in the crater, it's getting so high. Methane vapors.
Scientifically accurate verse, by the way.
Ain't no life there, so my nigga had to go and stuff the body here called the microbes. Make Bacardi, the soup cold, escape to outer space. We're rocking, I got the stage in my pocket, I got an 8 and the oxygen tank. Homie, I can't walk slow, particle wave slow. A million years feels like 10 seconds worth of float. So we all rolled up for some old man's bones. I just wish you could've known we escaped this hole. Y'all think you can escape? Y'all think you can escape? Y'all think you can escape? hand, shake the weight, the past, every break, every table in this place, every mind that was set, must be gold chainless. We might niggas in that payment, green as the tip, but I never, let the hood feeling great. Say I'm living for this chase, I just holler at my face. Lady West is my baby, ain't seen it lately, thinking I'm fame chasing. Nah, I'm still there, undercover brothers, trying to gain five lovers. But you know I rain, I just broke for a summer. Approaching the four runners with the story and the summons. The trace of a rhyme, I escaped in my time. Y'all think you can escape? Y'all think you can escape? Y'all think you can escape?
True story, I just forgot how this verse began.
Your
John
energy
knows.
is fucking infectious, though. I love this a lot.
John Swan on the ones and twos.
John knows if I forget something, I should just start scratching. Just start scratching.
You must understand that you gotta take most hands. Y'all think you can escape? Y'all think you can escape? Y'all think you can escape? I don't know my place. I don't know my place. I don't know my place. Y'all think you can escape? I don't know my place. Y'all think you can escape?
This is the moment I got in the zone. See it. Dissociate.
The song before this, the last song you were vibing.
I was not vibing until this part. Until this
You hit it
outro.
well.
You feel wild like watching yourself back, or
Yeah, it's wild. I'm surprised that it sounds almost as good as it did in my head, you know? Like I typically think that that's just not a thing that happens.
I feel like sometimes like I say like 90% of the time it sounds exactly how you think, or like
Yeah.
yeah.
I love the way, yeah, absolutely love the way that sounded. But now we're going to do something very exciting here. Catherine, for the first time, we're going to hear choose the two songs with her from the pod. First, we're
Exciting.
going, actually, one of the songs, we're going to hear one
Mm-hmm.
song. Yeah, I think.
Later, the program.
Yeah. So this is called Put Them in the Ground, and this is a rare thing where Karen actually takes on the third person narrator voice and sings about herself. And in Put Them in the Ground, Karen is kind of grappling with herself as somebody where it's like, holy shit, everything I do is aggressive and about attacking, and not about helping people. And in my verse here, I take on the voice of Simon Zoller, who is of course Karen's his product manager. He understands Karen better than anybody, even though he almost never interacts with other humans. And he's kind of talking about her and what she really is in that way too. So let's hit it.
And before I forget, I do want to make a comment. John Swan is so freaking good, and I'm gonna find that video you sent and put in the chat the other day of his competition like a couple of years ago, because it's that good. I wanted to make a comment
That's
before
right.
we start.
and both of these songs were produced and composed by John Swan, and all I did was write the lyrics and give him kind of guideposts. But he's incredible.
That's like one of the nicest compliments I've ever been given.
This isn't the point of this at all, but that skirt is really cute. I like the skirt.
Thank you, Eloquy. The best place ever.
Amazing.
I have ever heard. When Bossy told me he was writing that he wrote a book, first of all, and then he was turning it into
this sci-fi musical, I was like, wait, what? Like I just had not seen this side of him before, so it was just really cool to collaborate with him in this way. So thanks for having me along, cuz I don't know if you know, but we're cousins. Yes, we are. Okay, yes, we are, yes.
Cousins.
Hey.
Yeah. Family.
Everything's hype moments for John Swan.
All right, now this song is called Put Them in the Ground. Here, Catherine sings as Karen James. Is Ken Rich still in the house here? Are you still?
Oh, I was gonna tell Ken we're gonna reproduce the entire pod with Catherine as the star.
When he gets back.
Sadly, he wasn't in the audience at that moment. It all planned out too. It was gonna be hilarious. I had a whole like back and forth.
So, but
Anyways.
why were you gonna? So what happened before Catherine was gonna be in the lead role that would make Ken Rich possibly upset to hear that news?
We had produced almost the entire podcast, and we'd initially been thinking of it as a much smaller kind of project. I didn't really realize the interest in musical sci-fi audio drama until pretty recently. So I was like, well, we have this really expensive voice modulation strategy. I'll just get the story out there, see what people think. But now we're like, oh, no, we should make this like real audio drama, full cast. So Ken, sorry, all those hours and hours and days of work, we're going to have to kind of do some open heart surgery on it. I was going to tell him. But you know what? He was very excited about it. He was like, that was the last piece we needed. So he was pumped.
I think if the Seed and Spark is any indication, there's very clearly an audience for this.
Yeah. And it's amazing to see.
It is so cool.
Tell you you were gone, asking what was wrong. Suck you wrote a song, spirits not involved. Pain affects us all, pain will make us fall. Caring you were gone, stranger turns dear. Rule them with the fear, elbow poking near. And suddenly, it's clear.
You think that I would try and sell you out the first bid at my auction house. The next time my pain comes out, to put them down in the ground. Them in the ground here when I am waiting before I am sleeping. Get out of my head, get out of my head. I see her when I am speaking. These words for the weak. I know what you said, that I am not dead.
Got a frame of reference, half-written sentence. Pain can't be endless, clock moves, brethren. Rebel senseless devils, gears in my levers. Police processors, big trees reference. Peanut butter smears, and metallic glares. Suddenly, you're scared.
I think I wanna find the lonely ones, the vibrant ones, the homely ones, the obsessed with my success, and put them down in the ground. Put them in the ground here when I am waiting before I am sleeping. Get out of my head. Get out of my head. I see her when I am speaking. These words for the weary. I know what you said, and I am not dead yet.
Ladies and gentlemen, Catherine.
I remember when we recorded this because we're like, "Can you meet me at this place?" And like, I went like down into this super cool basement that you would have never known was there. And I feel like that's what a lot of music studios in Brooklyn look like. But I was just so astounded that so much was happening in this little space. It was cool.
And we have, true story, 3 different basement studios, all varying levels of extremely cool, that we recorded this podcast in.
Indeed.
That's amazing.
Uh,
I want to
so
visit
this
New York
song,
sometime, but I haven't had the opportunity. Sorry, go on.
gotta do it. Well, I was just gonna say this next song is called "I Wanna Be More," and this is the song from the pilot, which is out now on all platforms. Karen 1%, Milton's Lament, a prologue. At the very end of the episode, you hear this. This is the first episode is the only one that's not almost completely narrated by Karen James, and so what you get here coming in is Karen trying to say like, okay, but here's what the story is about. I just want to be more than the words on the page, the hearts I would break, the love I would take, a woman to hate. Let's listen to it. And you know what, Catherine, you're forgiven for messing up a couple of the lines.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. Okay, we're a forgiving bunch here.
Didn't you threaten to get Tony fired like 10 minutes ago?
I'm forgiving towards Catherine.
What if I find you in my arms? But I'm so scared of dreaming I wake up and it's me in bunched up sheets. I guess we only miss the good part, so it seems like me. I guess I wouldn't be surprised, I just wanna be more than the words on a page, the heart I would break, the love I would take, the woman to hate, the source of your rage, all the lies I would make, a hopeless creation, the devil's temptation. I just wanna be more. I just wanna be more. What if we find peace in who we are? Could we become the villains we always had to chase? They ran so far. I guess we could try the good part. So it seems that I hate me. I guess I wouldn't be surprised. I just wanna be more. I just wanna be words on the page. The love I would hate, the love I would hate, the source of your rage, a woman to hate, all the lives I would make, a hopeless creation, the devil's temptation. No.
It's closer than I remember. It's closer,
Your voice is stunning.
I really love that song. That's like one of my favorites that you've done for this.
Yeah, I just want to say it is very gratifying that I think the first ballad I've ever like the first ballad I've ever written is sung by Catherine Allison. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
And so good too. Like, that's one hell of a ballad, and that performance was amazing.
Thank you.
God, I wish I could have been there live. That must have been so cool.
It was super fun. The crowd was awesome. Yeah, it was just a good people, good drinks, good food.
Mm-hmm.
Sellout
You
crowd
had
in
that chicken
Brooklyn
sandwich
Friday.
that looked so good, Catherine.
Yes, the chicken sandwich was
You're
delicious.
like,
And
I'm so hungry. I looked at it. I was like, oh god, I'm hungry too now.
and it was tempura fried. Like I was like, this is my
Yeah.
place.
Tempura fried sandwich. Yeah. So the room is not very big. We had some pictures from before the show started that kind of showed before everyone got there. But when you stand up on stage,
80-person room, and we sold 75 tickets, or 75 person room. We had 80 people there, and we sold 75 or 80 tickets. So
yeah,
pretty cool.
That's so cool.
It was pretty shoulder to shoulder, and everyone was having a really good time. It was very fun. What are we about to listen to right now, Bossy?
Yeah, so this is kind of the main event of the show, a set by Sleep Station, who just absolutely my favorite music acts. I don't know if Dave is still in here. I don't remember the order of Dave's set, I think Dave had to step away for a bit, but these I don't know what else to say about it. Basically, and I'm also trying to think about what we said earlier, that what didn't get caught in the audio, you know. But one thing that's important to point out, I think, is that there is a new remaster, which you can find on all platforms. I use Spotify personally, of Sleep Station's most famous album, "Hang in There, Charlie." That is out now, and the remaster is absolutely amazing. And so we're going to hear some songs from "Hang in There, Charlie," and some of the other Sleep Station work that really forms the kind of artistic basis of this crazy story I wrote. I don't know if we want to. Just thinking about time, I don't know if we want to go through the entire set, but we can at least take on. Let's just listen to this first song here, and then we'll skip ahead a bit.
Sure. I think Dave even mentioned that their first actual album, which was not professionally released, is getting remastered and should be out in the near future as well. So that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, it's called Anhedonia. Actually did hear a preview of it at a Sam Goody, but the Sam Goody had no record of it existing as a record, weirdly. But that's kind of how I found out about Sleep Station, was previewing a record of theirs at Sam Goody on accident. So anyways, let's listen in. May need to fast forward a bit more.
From the Sleep Station and some other stuff that we've worked on throughout the years, and just so different a long time. So let's see what we remember this show.
We're a lot of Sleep Station fans of this show. I'm like, I cannot believe Sleep Station is in Brooklyn in 2022. It's very cool to see.
I'd actually never heard of them before today, so.
You have seen my soul, like my conscience left it out. Someone singing when battle that we're in. Bring me out of here. I am lost and I cannot begin to open up your eyes. Save me with your lies.
Sleep Station fans know every word of every song, so you can kind of hear them a little bit in the background.
There's darkness all the time.
This is an acoustic Sleep Station performance, by the way. They've usually got a guitar.
Like after the show, I was like, man, y'all could do like a set in Brooklyn for a living guy.
So, brief explanation. In Karen 1%, she also product manages a secret space flight. That song is kind of the result of that work. They wind up fading out, alone in outer space.
See, this is the first time we've played this song in 20 years.
That's the recording.
Couldn't have been 20 years, Dave, right?
20.
20?
Yeah.
Wow. Sure, you didn't play that in Milwaukee when I was in high school. I saw you. You didn't play this song.
Maybe 18.
It's called Broke Your Trust on Hang In There Charlie, by the way.
I am honestly in awe of all three of you. You are all amazing.
Thank you, Avila. I think you're pretty amazing too. Say.
I appreciate that.
Her reads of Elba 1 are like out of my taken out of my brain and put into like
I can't wait for them to really dive into everything, you know, with the story and everything. Just doing those poems was a lot of fun though.
Iron Ball on guitar, by the way. Iron Ball is also in a very popular Pink Floyd cover band. What's his Pink Floyd cover band called, Dave?
Machine.
What's that?
Called The Machine.
The Machine.
The Machine. Cool.
Yeah. As a studio did that. Well, I've done a bunch of records with him, so he's a producer and an engineer as well. Gearbox Studios in Ramsden, Jersey. That's where we did "Fallen" and the other song we did together.
That's one of our three very cool basements where that's where we had Catherine in.
Right. Hey, yeah, forget about that because it's a weird. Doesn't feel like a basement there, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It really does.
It's like walked down and there was like a studio space. I was like, this is clever. Very clever.
Right. Yeah, I love working there. Love it.
Awesome.
And
Do you remember what?
he's so responsible for that record. Like I provided the music, but like, you know, he just did so much on it, you know, in terms of production and engineering. And I mean, this record would have costed me, I don't know, $100,000 to make if I was going down the traditional route, you know. And him and I did it for just for the love of it, you know. So
Mhm.
he's very
That's
much
incredible.
why we're all kind of. It's he's and great guitar.
He's an excellent
Absolutely
guitarist.
amazing guitar player.
Yeah.
So on your screen, this is a part of the show where I thought I was supposed to come on stage, but it actually happens a little later. We're running a little under time, so maybe you can skip this next track, Tony, and we'll
Sure.
pick up from there.
So
After that,
go through this track here. Is it when you hop back on stage? Oh, so here's the
yes,
song with Catherine.
All right.
Let me rewind a little bit and
So we're going to be releasing this, by the way. This is a crowdfunding reward as you get this recording of Fallen featuring Catherine Allison. Is truly the
Amazing.
Sleep Station fans' dream item. Let's listen to it.
Seems that I have let you go. Oh no, seems that I have misunderstood where you are and reading the plans. You have missed it and reading the plans. You hit everyone right between the eyes. You are on the run. You have fallen some, and you have fallen some. Now that I am unveiled, sunlight in your thread, the dwindling that has left you there, lost and very scared, lost and very scared. You have fallen some. 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 You have fallen
Dave, Fallen is I think one of the most beautiful songs you've written, of course. I'd love to hear about tell us about the genesis of that song. This is a song called Fallen from I believe it's from Hang in There, Charlie.
Yes. Fallen is supposed to represent well, it's pretty layered, but the character, you know, is trying to say to somebody like it's going to be okay, and you have fallen some, um and yeah, it's a song of hope, which I think but it doesn't, it's come across that way to people. Like I've definitely heard the opposite, that it's made, it's interpreted in a totally different way, you know. When we did the recording was cool because we panned the guitar to one side and we panned the vocals to the other side, so you had them in your left and right ear. And they used to do that back in the day, in when they were trying to mix in stereo, and back in the Beatles days and stuff like that. And it was a bold choice, to do it like that, because just from a technical standpoint, but it was fun, and it just kind of became like a badge of honor with that song. But we changed with when Catherine did it, and it just felt more like of an in the pocket. She's got such a beautiful voice, It really does the song just wonderful justice. It was, it was great. If you didn't notice, I wasn't really playing on that song. I was just sitting back, taking it all in, and it was just so nourishing and encouraging to hear. It was great. That was great.
It was one of the highlights, I think, for me of the show too. Was specifically that song was just very gorgeous.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
definitely hear the like hopeful. I have a hard time making out lyrics in this setting, but just like the sound of it feels very reassuring to me.
Mm.
And I mean, like you say, it's about hope and about acknowledging the fall and coming back despite it. Or that's anyway. The sound is there for me. I totally get it.
A very major key sound. Even if the
Yeah.
lyrics are can be interpreted one way or another, it definitely feels like a very bright, hopeful song. I think that does get across. But that's the thing with art is art's always up to interpretation. So.
And that song is the anchor of the main of the Hang in There Charlie story arc in Karen 1%. That song really kicks off I think it literally does kick off part 3 of the podcast, which is really where everything comes to a head. Now that I have unveiled the sunlight in your prayers, the dwindling that has left you there, lost and very scared, you have fallen some. It's beautiful. Excellent writing, Dave, I have to say. You're slightly better at writing ballads than I am, I have to admit. In the next thing, sorry, go ahead. Okay, the next thing you're going to see in your video screen here is me reading into really core part. I think like the most exciting part of the pod. And we really start to deal with the consequences of Karen's actions. And what you see is all throughout the rest of the pod after this happens, you just keep getting these big blocks of consequences of Karen's actions as told by other people. And so this scene and then the song that follows this in the podcast, super important. So let's take a listen.
When she told me that I should go back in the escape pod and die, I didn't really think about it. I just told her yes. I was so happy that I wouldn't have to watch Charlotte starve to death. In that moment, I was incredibly thankful. Ain't that something? Everything happens so quickly. It's not like the movies where everyone makes a big speech and then I press a button at the last moment. No, I couldn't risk going through all of this, only to have Charlotte run out of fuel and starve to death. I know he didn't want this. He believed we should have the same fate. That kid always surprising me. But when I started moving, so did he. A force of habit, I like to think. So there we were, at the end of the road, on opposite sides of an airline. He stopped me before I slammed the door in his face, but he couldn't think of nothing to say. He just kind of stared at me. And so I put my hand on his shoulder and said, "Hang in there, Charlie." I pulled his hand off the door and I sealed it shut. I climbed into this little pod and released it from flight 2. And then I just sort of chuckled to myself. You might burn quickly, but hey, you never know.
You might burn quickly, but hey, you never know. I have often felt the silence that your heart must never know, and through this gift of mystery, our science grows. You must tell them how we've done it all. You must let them know. Say I'm sorry, this time you're on your own. Hanging there, Charlie, your path is clear now. And I will die alone. Amazing, perfect stars, some will leave behind. Some shine above your head, and some will slip your mind. The numbers are on the pages and visions in your head. Close your eyes and sleep a while. Remember what we said. I said I'm sorry, I stay up here alone. Hanging there, Charlie, your path is clear now. Just a vision of make-believe that put you to the test. Just a vision of make-believe weighing on your chest. Hope you landed softly and thought you're doing fine. I will send the message, although late. Hope you will reply. I said I'm sorry for the things that I have done. And there, Charlie, will soon be home now, and I will die alone.
I love those moments.
Yes!
Oh, that is a hell of
can
a
hear-
song.
This would be the last song we run through for you, and
Those moments you can hear all the Sleep Station fans quietly singing. You know, it gets quiet enough where you can hear them all singing the song to themselves. Your
The
fans know.
fun fact is that's the first time I performed that song.
That's
Wow.
amazing.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah,
Somewhere
I
next
never
to
did.
somewhere in between. Oh.
I'd like to hear that.
This next part was really fun too, because this is when all the Sleep Station fans were up against the stage, dancing and singing along. This was definitely a good culmination for the pod, or for the concert. Did we want to jump into this song, or is there another section that you needed to go to?
Yeah, well, Somewhere in Between is not on the podcast. It is a great song though. So we should run it.
It's this was a very fun part of the show, so I'll play it.
Absolutely.
yes. Come this way.
Come in.
Come in. If you don't know it the first time you hear it, you'll remember it. That's why I like this song. Then you woke this morning, distant colors fade behind the sky again. I could hardly listen. Now your words have come.
Dashboard confessional over here. Everybody's singing.
Stop to find the
Also, you were living your best life. Like, I don't think I've ever seen you this happy besides. Yeah, you were living.
Say goodbye. You just close your eyes.
And you fake it. And you fake it. I don't want to live here. She said the days would fall, where I could see the change in all before it has to leave. The broken in its places, the smile on the faces, they're left stranded here and thrown away.
Everything you hide has put you in position to give up and say goodbye. You just close your eyes.
You chase it, you chase it. Now I just think of stages, wandering through places where my head will fall until I sleep again. I'm sick beyond confusion that I have placed between them. They're left perfect here, so no one can complain.
Everything you hide has put you in position to give up and say goodbye. You just close your eyes.
And you fake it, and you fake it.
So, Dave, everything you hide has pushed you in position to give up and say goodbye. You just close your eyes, fake it, you fake it. Tell me about that.
The song is it's actually pretty dark. Um, the subject matter, this is of somebody who is kind of dissociating, and I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
Funny
You
thing,
made it you made it your call and response song.
yeah. Um,
I like the way you think.
yeah. We have a running joke with that song. We never get it. We never get it right. Like every time we'd play it, we'd screw something up.
I, I remember when I saw you in Milwaukee, it was, I think, Rich, or was it John Lamb? No, it was John Lamb missed like the second to last lick. You were so close. He just bopped it Guitar Hero style. Like,
Can't get that song, man.
Beautiful one though. You know what? It's fun. Everyone's singing with you for the stream. You couldn't hear it. I didn't know you messed up. So everyone's singing covered it up for you.
Oh, I didn't. I didn't really. There was really no mistakes. It's just that, we just there was just some things that I would notice.
Oh, for sure.
We are always our own worst critics, I think.
Absolutely. Okay, so what is then up next? Boss, I think we took a little break here.
Took a break, that's right. We were gonna have a John Swan solo performance, but like this stream, the performance went long. Me and Tony, hey, it's me and Tony live in color. Gave a little pitch to donate to the crowdfunding campaign, which you should do, by the way, yourself. It is seedandspark.com/Karen-1 if you want to donate. Otherwise, just if you want to help out, you don't need to donate. We could really use a donation if you like fine art. But you can also just go to your favorite podcast platform, find Karen 1%, and just subscribe or follow or whatever the mechanic is on your app. This last thing we have for you in this recording today is, let me see here. Yes. Is a reading called What of Your Soul? And this is what I was talking about a little bit earlier. This is an example of the consequences that throughout the entire second half of the pod haunt Karen as she just listens to recording after recording of Colonel Eddie being in great distress all alone in outer space. I think that is the most I can say without spoiling much. So we'll listen to this and then close out. But I want to first of all thank everybody on the stream today. Tony, thanks for running it. Avalon, thank you so much. What a great way to meet Catherine, and you two will have some amazing scenes together. I mean, in the pod.
Oh, I can't wait.
The pod, Avalon, you live inside of Catherine's head, and she kind of knows it, she kind of doesn't. Is that what causes her to become a good person, or was that always going to happen? It is, I never write anything to be that clear, but hopefully everybody will have their own idea.
Like a slightly better Jiminy Cricket. I can't wait.
Exactly. Thanks so much, Catherine. And of course, Dave, thank you so much for being with us and for, obviously all the amazing music. Hey, so here's a question for the, just something we can clip for the My Chemical Romance, Mikey Way fans out there, Dave. What's the deal with Electric Century? Are you guys have anything? You guys gonna have anything cooking once those boys at My Chemical Romance, I think they're called, get off of tour? What's going on?
I have no idea. I just know, like, I go to the studio and I just write, and I just put my head down and make music, and maybe something comes of it, maybe it doesn't. I don't know. I have no idea.
think y'all will be back. I think Electric Century has a thought to finish. All right, so I'm keeping the optimism alive for the Mikey Way fans out there. We're gonna get a third Electric Century record. Or here's what you can do. You can make a third Electric Century record, but just make it the entire soundtrack for Karen 1% season 2. Think about it. Think about it. Think about it. Think about it. All right. Thanks so much for being here, everybody. We're gonna do this last reading.
Files. I'm right-handed. Escape
A
pod
custom
one.
music presentation by John Swan
Files/logs/untitled
for the show.
48. My air 23%. My radiation exposure is worrying. My water is doing okay. I am thirsty, and it will run out. I will run out. Up here, 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 up, 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 here, 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 he was, well, he was. I am always just where I am, over and over and over. It's nice sometimes to know where I belong. So you really are clouds drifting past me now.
This is a quote from a Sleep Station song, Clouds.
You even know my name. The sacrifice I made.
Song follows this presentation, podcast.
Passing away. It would be so nice to just pass. I see blood stuck to your mouth and face. It was always on your face. It's your feelings that have changed. They are quiet, always strange. I've had enough of this. I will find a way to fall just to touch the ground. Charlie! Don't let them get to you. I will make it there through you.
Love how people actually jumped. I didn't catch that.
When they ask me questions, close. You never saw a thing. Just pretend like you had wings. Be patient every day, and then episode 57. I have never been a bragging man, but I believe I have solved the most pressing riddle in all of outer space. How can I choose to die when I will either starve or suffocate to death? I will escape this stable orbit. I will fill my heart with expectation and joy as I plummet to the death that I choose. I will spread my arms and embrace the pull of gravity of the beating of my heart and the dreams in my head. I will find peace in chaos and reconcile with what I am not to be. I will soar like angels, ancient and heavy, with the fates of billions crying out to exist. I will rip from the strands of my connection, from my wife in the honor we protect, from the shivering leaves of the oak tree where my father once rested his head, hungry and wanting, exhausted and frantic, a silhouette of everything that is yet to be done, a measure of everything that is to be. You cannot deny me. You cannot deny me my peace. Karen, you will not deny me my peace. I will go the way of everything in every age to dust forever, to heart and to will, and to discover what the wind rides of each of my parts. Strong enough in every morsel to remember, wise enough to want to I will vent the auxiliary oxygen. My orientation will change. And I will crash. My math assures me that I will finally crash. And what of the rest of you? What of you, Charlie? What of you, Milton? What of you, Marsha? What of you, Khan? What of your soul? What of my parts that will someday meet one of your parts? Will they thank you for making it possible? Will the wind blow a little softer through their resentment? Will we be the cause of stillness, the reckoning of mistakes, the echo of power and of death, the beginning of the end of what is to come, the start of something missing? Or will we simply be Colonel Eddie Tyrus?
Much like Dave's song Somewhere in Between, this is also about someone, let's say, disassociating. Yeah, much like Somewhere in Between, this is also about someone, I think Dave said it quite artistically there, someone disassociating. And I think so much of our art is about the nature of being alive and the effort of being alive. I think for both of us is part of the reason I think why we work so well together. There's one little last part in this reading here. Actually, you know what? Let's not do this part because it's too much of a spoiler. Weren't there live, and it's okay. Let's skip ahead to my final poem.
Yes.
I did want to just say real quick. I have been enamored with characters shattering in whatever way that means for them for a very, very long time. And one of my favorite ways that is usually accomplished is when a character is absolutely certain that they're going to die. They know it with 100% clarity. And the way that each character deals with that is so fascinating when it's in the hands of good writers anyway. And it's I was 100% engrossed in all of that. Phenomenal work.
Oh, thank you.
That last log is so good, and it's what we used for the trailer. Kai did the soundscape for it. Bossy did Colonel Eddie Tyrus's voice, and then I did the video for it, and we worked really hard on it, and it just sets such a strong mood for the show and for Colonel. It
is so well done.
Have you heard the full soundscape version?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, I'll put a link that you can review it later. That whole scene with it is so powerful and so impactful. And I also listened to it. So you probably saw me mouthing it because I listened to it just so many times while editing it. It's just ingrained in my soul now. It's haunting and beautiful. I love that part so much, Bossy.
Thank you. It's, you know, it's really tough for me, and I think Dave works much the same way. If he's as much like me as I think he is that I write these things, I have to feel them, and so go through a long period of sadness and mourning and depression when you like write something like this, and so to hear that, you know, just the energy you put onto the paper be transmitted to like other people is like an amazing thing to hear. So I appreciate the compliments.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and I dropped it in the stream chat, and I'm also just gonna drop it in the Karen 1% feed in the Discord for us to review later. But that video is one of my favorite things I think I've done in my entire time with the network. I really love it. You ready for your final poem to close this out, Bossy?
Yeah, so that was a little heavy. You know, obviously you don't want to leave people thinking crowdfunding. Dave reminded you of death. I reminded you of death. So let's talk about Sonic the Hedgehog.
I'd like to read you a brief poem before we go. Yay! It's about Sonic the Hedgehog. Yeah! That's right, folks. That's right. I'm a multi-faceted person. I like Sonic too. That new game is coming out. Anyways, all right.
The game is great, by the way.
Lost all of my rings. Took a drill to the chest. Now my body just blink. Weak MCs turn Eggman's machines. But the emeralds bling, check my perfect screens. I'm so gosh darn fast. On Sega CD, ran back to the past. Super Spin Man, Green Hills on the dash. Up in Hilltop Zone, my man Tails got smashed, but Knuckles back. Yeah, Knuckles is back. He threw a punch. I dodged it quick. I got a shield, this bubble steel. Then he locked me up. I'm a prison heel. Stuck around just to have a meal. Then he missed me jump. Fella's head's a stump. Poof. Thank you.
I didn't have the Sonic thing. I have Super Mario.
We're not gonna get copyright stricken for that little jingle, are we?
Probably not. I think my favorite part of that is that he just didn't have Sonic music, so John Swan just played Mario 1-1 from original Super Mario Bros. On the NES. It just fucking, it took me it took me by surprise. It absolutely just destroyed me. I was laughing my ass off.
It's perfect.
I was like, that's not right. And then he's like, I didn't have it. Sorry. Such a fun show. Oh my god.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So we are close to the end of crowdfunding, Bossy. How does that make you feel? What are you feeling
very
right
excited.
now?
I'm first of all just honored by all the support we've gotten, and we could use a little bit more, frankly. But I think it's just been amazing to see so many people be interested in the project. It's been a great way to tell people about our art, and there's just a couple days left. So the incentives are really cool. So if they go and see and Spark and think about it. Uh, but besides that. And we'll put a link in the comments, by the way, to the Seed and Spark
Pinned at the top of the
link
comments.
All right, brilliant for donations. But otherwise, we're probably going to start. If I'm being ultra realistic, and I keep telling people, oh, we're going to start, beginning of February. Look, we're probably going to start the run of the show, most likely end of February, into early March. But we're going to try to hit early February. But I'm just really excited. Crowdfunding is over. I'm just really excited to get to work with Catherine, to get to work with Avalon, and yeah, we're gonna put this thing out once every 2 weeks for 40 weeks, and it's gonna be a hell of a journey.
So cool.
Yeah. Me and Dave are talking about playing a show at Rockwood Music Hall to celebrate episode 2. So we'll more live stuff, more fun stuff is coming. Anything you can do to support the project just proves that musical sci-fi audio drama is going to take over the entire world.
An untapped niche.
Yeah, sometimes you
Truly.
hear the word musical and you're like, but being at
it's not.
What were you gonna
That's
say?
the thing about it. That's the thing about it. It's not really a musical, but there's nothing else to call it because musical-ish is not a word. So we just kind of have to roll with it.
Calling
It's
it
musical with a lowercase m, not a capital M. Like
right, it's not a title. It's an adjective. It's not. It's not the genre. It is very. We've been in a lot of the marketing we've been calling it music driven, and that's much more in line with what it is.
Mhm.
And I was already excited for the show. But then seeing all the talent involved and hearing everyone just took my excitement and just pushed it a couple more levels that I didn't even think it could reach. Like it was surreal being there and hearing everyone, because there's just like 5 different people walked on stage and they're all performing. It's like, why is everyone so good? What the hell?
Right. Absolute rock stars, top to bottom. Oh, this is gonna be so good.
Hey, you want to talk about rock stars, Avalon, Catherine? You stayed for the entire. I did not expect anybody except for me and Tony to stay for the entire thing. Thank you so much for just hanging out with us live all night. I love it.
Of
Absolutely love it.
course.
Yeah, thank you so much.
I am, well, to be real for a second, I am chronically terrified of disappointing anyone ever. But also, it was just a good time, and it was really cool to watch all the performances and everything.
Yeah, it's great, and we'll have to put out maybe we'll put out another a party 5 times the size for the final episode. We'll have to rent.
Oh yeah.
Rent out a movie theater.
We might have to have a whole concert hall for that one. We'll see.
we have a comment from Mijal, I apologize if I mispronounced the name, Mijal Arns, manifesting that EC third album, but we are still waiting for all the EC world that we haven't met. We don't forget about the animations nor the virtual show. What is that about?
Ooh.
That sounds like a Gorillaz thing.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Electric Century has an amazing. It's a companion to their previous album. They have this amazing. I don't know what to call it, like a visual novel, basically, that feeds into the record, and that was all Mikey Way and his creative team's doing. Mikey and Gerard obviously are 2 of the most talented brothers ever. We are very fortunate to have Mikey singing, or Mikey on the theme song for Karen 1%. It's called "I'll Be Fine." And that's Mikey Way and David Debiak. And I've been talking to Dave. I'm like, we got to get some more MCR / Electric Century love in this pod. So maybe not for season 1, but we'll see. We'll see.
We'll make it a wild. We'll make it a stretch goal for season 2. Just like really push for it.
$3 million. 10 minutes of 10 minutes of Gerard and Mikey together. It'll be great.
You know, stranger things have happened. It could happen.
Dusty Nonsense
Could
seems to
happen.
just stumble into random shit. Today, one of our shows, so one of our other shows is also crowdfunding right now, Ethics Town. They actually hit 100% today, and some relatively popular horror actor actually pledged the last $160 for it. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Let me get
We're
his name.
getting
He was
noticed.
in the Creep movies. But yeah, we just like randomly stumble into like weird opportunities like that. So yeah, it could happen. Who knows?
It's what happens when you're weird on purpose
Mhm.
and very sort of honestly weird. You start attracting other people that are also weird and are into weird things, and it snowballs.
Mhm.
Because weird people always want a community, and there aren't enough to go around.
Right.
Yeah. And so I can't thank Mikey Way enough for okaying I'll Be Fine, which is a beautiful song to be our theme song. And yeah, it's gonna be a hell of a pod. Good luck to MCR and Mikey on tour. Thank you to Dave Debiak for being here today. Donate to Karen 1% or listen to the prologue on all platforms now. Catherine Allison, Avalon Willow Bloom, Tony DeCarlo Smith. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here.
course.
It's been a blast.
Yeah. Especially that shout out to Evan Taylor, who's been hanging out. They listened to the
Yes.
whole concert when it originally streamed, and they're here now. They pledged
Oh,
to the
that's amazing.
crowdfunding campaign. Big,
Oh
big,
my
nice
God.
pledge too. So thank you so much, Evan.
Did-
You're a fantastic
didn't,
supporter.
Didn't Eben also contribute to the Super Suits crowdfunding?
Yes, Evan is
I thought
good
I recognized
friends.
the name.
Yeah, Evan is
Very cool.
Is
He's been here
very
for a
tied
while.
into a couple of the a lot of our stuff too. But yeah,
love you for it.
We become the biggest podcast network in the world, and we buy Kesha's podcast company. Let me tell you,
That was extremely
not-
specific of you, and I love that.
We're not gonna. I'm just jealous of all her shows. That's all. But we're not gonna forget you, Evan.
all right. Thank you so much, everyone, for stopping by. It's been a wonderful time, and we'll see you at the next show.